Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! Seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the post, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh!
For the 3rd time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it through to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button. And now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to our YouTube page. And if you're watching us from our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, guys. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, you want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Listen, I got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here on the screen. We'll put it up on, it'll come up here in a thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like the Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Man. My man, Michelle Waldman, the Southside himself, is in the house. What's up, Papa? He's like, what's up on a House Music Monday morning, and baseball is coming up for real. House music shirt ready. House music Monday. House music all night long. Say what? House music all night long. Say what? House music all night long. Say what? That's what I'm talking about, baby. Oh, man. Woo-wee. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. That I can promise you. Hey, listen. Baseball season is coming, so at 10 o'clock today. At 10 o'clock, my man Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com is going to join us. We're going to talk Cubs baseball. We're going to preview the Cubs season with Evan. Evan's one of the best in the business at covering the Cubs. And, man, he's been rocking with us for years, so I love whenever I talk Cubs, he's usually the first person that I reach out to talk Cubs. So he's going to be on at 10 o'clock today. So we are going to find out what Cub fans, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to this season? Where are your question marks? Where are your concerns? Is it the starting rotation? Is it the bullpen? What about right field? A lot of questions we're going to ask Evan. So make sure you're here at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're here at 10 o'clock so we can make sure that we get those questions asked to Evan. I can't believe baseball season is here already, baby. It's here. Oh, we could delete that. So with that being said, this is appropriate. Yeah, we can start with this already. I'm just playing with you, man. I'm playing with you, man. It's a joke, Papa. It's a joke. I got yolks today. I got yolks. Well, listen, I hope you guys had a phenomenal weekend. And let's not forget, I almost forgetted it. We have NCAA. We have March Madness to talk. Oh my God, Becky. This opening weekend was insane. Insane in the brain. Oh my gracious, great balls of fire. Number one seed is down. Number one seed is down after the first weekend. Whew, I tell you. Big upset over the weekend. Well, you saw it because it happened Thursday. The huge upset. High Point. Dude, I never heard of. They're in North Carolina. I had to do some research. I had to find out where they were. There was some. They have their campus is wild. It's about 65,000-ish to go per year. But they have various rooms and they really cater to their students. It's weird. But yeah, High Point University. You know, they had the big upset over Wisconsin. Way to go, Wisconsin. Keep it classy, bums. Oh, man. Anything just to stick it to the cheeseheads up there. Because there are a whole bunch of inbred hillbilly mother Hubbard, cousin kissing, cow tipping, hillbilly mother Hubbards. Respectfully. Respectfully, of course. Respectfully. Oh, man. I love it. I love talking smack with my friends who used to eat lead paint chips and are, Packer fans. I love talking. Hasn't been much fun for a while. For a long time, it was, wow, not nice. Not nice. They had all the talking to do, and there was nothing we could do about it as Bears fans. And now the tables seem to be turned. The tables seem to be turned, and I like it. We as Bear fans like it. This is the way the world should be. All right, this is the way the world should be with, Bears, Packers talking ish. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. The weekend was beautiful. It was a little cooler yesterday than it was Saturday. Saturday was in the mid-70s. Well, depending on where you were, the closer to the lake you were, the closer to 70 degrees you were. The further away from the lake you were, the further away from 70 degrees. You're in the mid-70s to the low 80s on Saturday. It was wild. Why it was warm as a son of a gun, boy. Let me tell you, it was warm. And so, yeah, it was a great weekend to get out there. Hopefully, you're able to meet up with your people, some of your people. Festival season hasn't started yet. That's usually that's between Memorial and Labor Day. So we have a couple of months, March, April, May. Got about 2 months before festival season starts. But it doesn't mean, but hey, brunch season is always in full effect. Okay, with the weather, a lot of rooftops were open, a lot of patios were open, especially on Saturday. Sunday, it was warm. A lot of people, so the running season has begun. So Saturday was the official kickoff to the running season with the Shamrock Shuffle. Thousands of people were downtown with the Shamrock Shuffle kicking off the running season for 2026 here in the city of Chicago. So I have a lot of running friends, and what they said was it wasn't too bad down there, except it was extremely windy. So it's about 40 degrees down there, and 40 degrees is a tricky spot, because if we're coming up from the teens, 20s, we get up to 40. Wow. That's shorts weather for some people, for a lot of people. But if we're going from 70s and 60s down to 40s, man, that's hoodie, that's parka weather. There's a warm 40 and a cold 40. Yeah, it all depends on where you're coming from initially. And then if the wind blows, that wind chill is a big factor in how you dress as a Chicagoan. You know this. You know this. But Shawn says the Chicago weather is bipolar. Man, you ain't lying. My man Cornelius Squalls checking in. What's up, Papa? Says morning, Shawn, Sports Zoners. Hope you had a good weekend, gentlemen. Hope you had a good weekend. You know what I want? Here's what I want. I need to. So I am going to put this back up. Oh, nice. Very nice. That's good to know. Messed up. See, I messed up a little bit. Hold on. There we go. So I'll put this back in the chat. So here's the link for the SuperBack's birthday double nickel linen celebration. My 55th birthday, 55th birthday. All right, there's a link if you're interested in going. I'm telling you, the first 20 tickets are $10 off. Okay, you get a discount. I decided to do that so people can hurry and go get some tickets. They got a couple tickets left, so make sure you go get your tickets Saturday, July 25th. Tell you what, it is going to be off the freaking chain. Off the chain. All right, 4:30 to 7:30. Voting starts at 4. It's Summer of George, 900 South Wells. There's a parking lot right there that you can park your car there, leave it there. Music, we have DJs DY Nemesis. If you like hip hop, like 90s and 2000s hip hop, that's my man's in them. And then my man DJ Kuko. You want some Chicago house music, some booty mix, some Spanish, Kuko's your man. So it's going to be one heck of a time. I tell you what, I cannot wait. So get your tickets. There's a link in the bio, or the link's in the thread. And listen, it is going to be epic. That's probably the best way to put it. It's going to be epic. And if you've never partied with me, and many of you haven't, if you ever partied with me, man, we're gonna one time for the one time. Listen, I'm gonna get a good night's sleep Friday. So Thursday to Friday, the day before my birthday, the show before my birthday, I'm gonna get some good sleep. Friday to Saturday morning of my birthday, gonna get some good sleep. Probably go to CrossFit. I'll come home, take a nap, and then I'll talk with him tomorrow. I'm trying to get a sponsor. One of the guys that I work out with is he owns a couple of restaurants down in Fulton Market. First of all, I'm staying downtown. I'm not even gonna mess. I'm not even gonna play around. And I'm gonna try and get him to sponsor. And on Sunday, in the aftermath, head over to his spot for brunch. He's got this really cool spot in Fulton Market. I've been there a couple of times. It is awesome. So I'm gonna talk to him about that and get him a spot. See if we can sponsor the show. Dude, that'd be dope as all get out. So still working on sponsors. I got one sponsor so far. All right. First Veteran Restoration. Okay. When for rehabbing houses, roofs, all kinds of stuff. You know, you got to go through insurance. Holler at my guys, First Veteran Restoration. They do great work. I got Rick. He's the man in charge. They do phenomenal work. First Veteran Restoration. Well, listen, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Let me get the warden off the CrossFit. All right, and we'll be back, and we'll hit some top of the morning topics. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here, Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings. I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport like that.
Your Marine Corps' way of life.
Fast break lob. They're going to get one or two of those. We just got to be consistent. Keep throwing body blows to what we do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And the jumper
We've seen this type of game in the Big Ten. You got to keep with those body blows. And then he said they need to go stronger to the hoop. And he wants them.
Stojakovic just purchased.
They're going to ride Stojakovic here.
Why not? That lane. Stojakovic again. Yes, that just off the window. They're trying to run. Djokovic. There you go. All the way, and he misses on the jam. Wow. Boswell. Give it up. Oh, V6. Wow. Take me to the Balkans, please.
Like an eagle. I had to.
Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of CBS. Those are the Flying Illini. We can't call them flying yet. The Fighting Illini. Whee, I like it. Bill Raftery. Take me to the Balkans. Well, all the Ivovic and Isilic and Kajakovic. They take me to the Balkans. Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. But don't forget, guys, the link to the birthday party is in the it's in the chat. So make sure you check it out. Get your tickets. First 20 tickets are discounted. So make sure you take care of that discount. All right. But you know what? Let's get a crack-a-lackin', baby. You know how we do the first segment of every show was called Top of the Morning.
She won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
See, which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? The first top of the morning topic. I like it. I like it a lot. Cubs. Speaking of Cubs, my guy Evan Altman is going to join us in 20 minutes at 10 o'clock talking to Cubs. But the Cubs dismantled the Brewers 12-0. Woo, Charlie, they are ready for the enemies of the North. Wow, Chad Horton, he got the win. He's 2-1 in the spring, went 6 innings, 4 hits, 6 innings of scoreless ball, 4 hits, no walks, 3 punch-outs. Alex Bregman, fresh off the World Baseball Classic, was 2 for 3, hit a double. His third double of the spring. Jack the Homer, his second of the spring, driving in his second RBI of the year. Ballesteros, who made the team. He's been told he's going to make the team. He was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles, his 4th and 5th of the spring. 2 RBIs, his 9th and 10th of the spring. He is fired up to be on the opening day roster. Ian Happ was 1 for 2 with a homer, his 2nd of the spring, driving in his 7th RBI. And Nico Horner was 2 for 3 with a double, his 3rd of the spring, driving in his 7th and 8th runs of the springtime. Staying with the Cubs, the next top of the morning topic, the Cubs. They host the Yankees at Sloan Park for the first of a 2-game set. Still spring training. But the first pitch is at 2:05 p.m. Central today. Carlos LaGrange is on the bump for the Evil Empire for the Yankees. He's going up against Shota Imanaga for the Northsiders. Yeah, so obviously sometimes it happens when teams are the Yankees are most likely playing out west. I don't know who they're playing to open up the season, but they're playing out west, so they'll do that. They'll have some teams fly out and get a spring training game or two with a team, from Florida. They'll fly to Arizona and they'll get a game or two with 1 or 2 teams out here in Arizona. So you get to see a Cubs. If you're still out there, like I'm not, you get to see Cubs Yankees spring training, which is pretty dope if you ask me. The next top of the morning topic, the good guys. Man, it was a rough one for my good guys, the White Sox. They lost to the Mariners 4-2 late last night. Woo! Sean Burke was on a bump. He got the loss. He's 0-3 for the springtime. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 punch-outs. Reese McGuire signed yesterday. That makes the whole catching situation quite the conundrum. Looks like Corey Lee is going to be the odd man out after this one. But anyway, Reese McGuire 2 for 2 with a double, his first of the spring. A homer, his second of the spring. Driving in an RBI, his second of the spring as well. Chase Mydroff, he was 1 for 3 with a double, his fifth on the springtime, driving in his seventh RBI of the spring. Staying with the White Sox, they travel to Hohokam Stadium in Mesa to face the A's in their spring training finale today. First pitch is at 1:05 p.m. Central. Amaz, your car, you ready? Ama. Oh, she's in. Looks like the warden is ready off the CrossFit. First pitch today is at 1:05 p.m. Central. Anthony K is on the bump for the Southsiders, going up against Luis Morales for the Athletics. So I don't even know what the hell to call the Athletics. Are they the Sacramento Athletics? Are they the soon-to-be Vegas Athletics? Because they're playing in Sacramento this year. Yeah, I don't know. That is nuts. The next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks. That was a rough one yesterday, boy. Ooh, that was a rough one. Blackhawks fall to the Nashville Predators 3-2 in overtime. Spencer Knight, he stopped 30 of 33 shots. Artist lit the lamp for the sixth time. Connor Bedard, Blackhawk superstar, lit the lamp for the 29th time this season. Assist on the day, Tyler Bertuzzi, his 22nd. Alex Vlasic, his 16th. And Green, his 17th assist of the season. Staying with the Hawks travel to Strong Island, New York. My buddy Monty from Long Island, he said, I'm from Strong Island. They're facing the Islanders tomorrow night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network or listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. Uh-oh, hold on. We have a little situation here. Hold on, let me take a quick break. Sorry, guys. I had to get the warden off. I'm going to make sure she's all right. All right? Give me a second. I'll be right back. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Welcome back to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. My apologies. Had to make sure she got in the car. She got in the car all right. She's heading over to CrossFit. Usually she says goodbye, and I hear her in the back, but she didn't. And the car took off. I'm like, oh, man. But she was in the back of the car. So she's on her way to CrossFit. So, again, I apologize for the interruption. The next top of the morning topic, the Bulls. The Bulls host the Houston Rockets tonight at the United Center. All right, tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network or listen to it on our flagship station, 104.3 FM or 670 AM, The Score. Man, listen, there was so much to do. So much to do over the weekend. March Madness. March Madness was March Madnessing this weekend. It was amazing. This was a good, I can't really remember an opening weekend as fun as this in a while. Maybe because I wasn't as dialed into it the last couple of years. But I sure as hell was dialed into it, and man, it was opening weekend was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And the cool part about it, what are you doing here? I don't know why this is acting silly. And the cool part about it is that the Big Ten was represented big time. You think you're big time? Illinois, with 5 other teams, 5 other Big Ten teams, are moving on to the Sweet 16. 6. That's crazy. That is crazy. That 6 Big Ten teams. And if it wasn't for Wisconsin acting crazy, it could have been 7. I don't know what the hell Wisconsin was doing, but you leave it up to those people. Whatever. It was great to see. Let's check out the brackets already. Well, it would have been Wisconsin and Arkansas. Would have been Wisconsin and Arkansas had Wisconsin handled business and not got upset. Number 12, High Point, upset Wisconsin in the opening round, 83-82 on Thursday. That's why we had, if you remember, the background for the show on Friday was, let me see, what did it say? Oh, I deleted it. Son of a biscuit. But it was crazy. And this is why we love the games. This is why we love the games. All right, March Madness is a staple. It's an institution. And remember, it's in the middle of the day. So work stops a lot. Work stops. I remember when I was a teacher. So I was at Little Village. I remember. I didn't have my laptop yet. But there were other people who had laptops, or they pulled it up on their classroom or the teacher computer on their desktop. And 11 o'clock in the morning, bam, they were on. And when we were at Little Village, the school had just opened in 05, 06, something like that. And there weren't really, so let me tell you, there weren't a lot of, so Little Village, there are 4 different high schools in Little Village. World Language, Infinity, Social Justice, and Multicultural Art School, or they call it MAS. Okay. Each had its own principal. all four had never been principals before. Never. It was the first time ever. So let's just say we were able to get away with some things that you probably usually wouldn't be able to get away with. Let's just put it like that. So I remember they brought the cart in. So for those of you who went to CPS, and it was for us Catholic school kids too, whenever you had a substitute, a lot of times they were bringing the cart in. They had a movie for you to watch. And as soon as you brought the cart in, oh, man, you know it was a great day because you didn't have any class for that particular, in high school, 50 minutes, give or take. And they brought it in, and we just watched it for like 2 periods. It was crazy. It was crazy. I know I should be telling those secrets, but any more though, eh? What are they gonna do? Fire me now? But it's great to see 6 Big Ten teams advance. All right, you got in the East, you got Michigan State against UConn. And it's crazy because UConn beat UCLA. If UCLA had won, it'd be Michigan State, UCLA. And don't forget, UCLA is in the Big Ten still. All the way out there. The Big Ten is coast to coast. You got Rutgers in New Jersey. You got Maryland in Maryland. Then move over to Penn State and all the teams in the middle. Then you got the one in Nebraska. And you got teams Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA. It is coast to coast, baby. Then the South region, we're talking, you got Iowa and Nebraska. It's the 3rd time they're playing. 3rd time they're playing. Iowa got them in Iowa City. Nebraska got them in Lincoln. This one's going to be in Houston, neutral site. So 2 Big Ten teams there, and then in the bottom half of that bracket, Illinois versus Houston. So there's 3 Big Ten teams in the South coming out of the South bracket. And it's going to be tough because, man, Houston's playing at Houston. They're in Houston. It's kind of like a home, not kind of, it's going to be a home game for them. Going to have a whole bunch of fans, but you know what? Big U of I, Illini fans travel well. Then the West region, Purdue, Thursday, takes on Texas. Michigan, does they take on Alabama? I didn't see this. I didn't see. That was a late game. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the second round bracket. Or brackets. I want the brackets. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. No one wants to see. Yeah. So there are no perfect brackets remaining according to the ESPN Men's Tournament Challenge. No perfect brackets remaining. Oh, well. It happened. Man, it was crazy when you to have. So let's see. We're going Michigan. Who's Michigan playing? Oh, so Alabama did win. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa State. All right, and that's in the Midwest. So I'll tell you what. So where were our movie choices? So, mind you, we went to a Catholic school. And we would have, it wasn't really a lot of different movies. It was a lot of times they would have people who'd come on from something in the work in the lesson. So it had usually that it had a videotape. But we did watch Rocky 3 a couple times. Brought the card in like Rocky 3. Mind you, I was in high school in 85 to 89. So Rocky 3 was well in that zone, you know what I mean? Those are some of the movie choices, King Book of World. But man, the tournament's gonna be awesome, man. Now we get a chance to exhale. Whew, with all the craziness that went on this weekend. And we're gonna go back to for the right to go back to Indy the following weekend. The Final Four in the national championship. That's gonna be dope. Can Illinois get there? I don't know. Houston's a pretty tough out. They were in the national championship game last year. I don't know. Well, we will find out. But listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my guy. All right, he's the editor-in-chief over at CubsInsider.com. We're going to welcome Evan Altman on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Cub fans, get your boys. Call your peoples. All the peoples. You got a Cubs guy coming on, talking Cubs. Keep it locked right here. ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created gervondextersr.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information on my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoynereports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoyne.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Let's see what the Hawkeyes are able to do.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes do tend to run the shot clock down. A little alley-oop tipped away by Chinua. I tell you what, it's Chinulu's so difficult inside, and Lee running the floor, lays it in. Does it help that Chinulu's on the bench too, with Manyao out?
Well, Kent Longton is 7 feet tall, so I don't know.
And Koch cans the three.
Florida's done a really nice job keeping him away from spots where he scored.
Yeah, Boogie Fland has really been excellent on him. Bulgaris is able to slither that one in. Brown cut off on the double team. Condon initiating, and he got a free seal right to the back. And here we go. 8.9 to play. Sturts with the catch. Sturts bounce pass to the corner. Bulgaris for three. Lee across midcourt. Lee speeding toward the basket. Lee leaves it underneath. That's it! Iowa for the first time since 1999.
They're going to party like it's 1999 in Iowa City. Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of CBS. That was the sound of the defending champion getting knocked out of the tournament. Woo, Charlie, that was one hell of a game. Man, I told you March Madness was March Madnessing this weekend, and it was awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, you know, I just got back from Arizona last week. I was just thinking, I was like, man, it was Sunday. It was like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I was 1 week ago, I was just landing in Arizona. You know, I was thinking, what were you doing? I was just landing in Arizona, getting ready to head over to JoJo's Cafe in Scottsdale. But yeah, and I didn't get to see the Cubs out there. I got to see my good guys, but you know, that's where they train. They have spring training. They're out in Mesa at Sloan Park. And the Cubs, I told you, I think they're in a good spot. I think they're in a spot to win. They have a good chance to win the NL Central. We're going to talk to a guy who covers the Cubs. Been rocking with us for years. He's the editor-in-chief over at CubsInsider.com. You can find him on Twitter at Evan Altman. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports. My man, Evan Altman. Evan, what's up, buddy? How are you?
It's another day, man. Another great day. We got baseball around the corner. Right, opening.
Not around the corner, straight ahead, dog. It's straight ahead.
It's not even around. Yeah, it's there, which is wild to me, right? Like, because we just had the WBC and that finished up, and it basically made the rest of spring training feel like, what's even the point, right? Like, why play, right? Because everybody's hyped for all that, and you're seeing these games that mean something, and man,
emotions up here,
dude,
and everything.
There is nothing better than like those Latin American, Caribbean countries. Dudes are bringing in like it's not just noisemakers. Like they got espresso makers that they're just shaking around and clanking, and it's just like, hey, what did you have in the kitchen? You know what I mean? Like what can you bring to the game?
Bring the pan, bring the big bread, the big pan where you make the tamales. Bring that.
Exactly. Like get the spoon. Come on. And it just going crazy, and to see Venezuela. You know, with everything that's been going on in their country for, a long time, but especially recently, and just to see those players and the emotion on their faces, it's not just another game, right? And I don't care what Logan Webb or somebody says about how the U.S. cared more. I'm like, the Team USA was in there all stoic, acting like they had already won the thing beforehand. So, but regardless, right, that ends. Now you're like, oh, cool. Now we're going to watch. Most of the games in spring we can't even watch anyway. Right?
Yeah.
So, it's almost like, are they still playing? What's going on? So let's get to some games that matter again. So I'm excited for Thursday for that. And, my brackets are all busted up anyway, so I don't really care what's happening there.
Thanks, High Point.
Yeah, right? Like, man, and what about how about Darren Peterson? I know that kid's a hell of a ball player, but what are you doing vacating the lane to double team some guy on the wing while this dude just drives all the way to the hoop for an easy layup to win the game? Like, what are you doing?
Freshman mistake.
Well, not to mention there was a dude wide open in the corner anyway. Like, you left your man to go double team a dude who was already being guarded. Like, what are we doing? And make a layup. It was like, this is Tyus Edney part 2. But anyway, I digress. Yeah,
you know what, Evan?
Man,
you know what? I was never a big World Baseball Classic guy. I'm like, it's stupid. It's just a money grab. And this year grabbed me. This year, dude, I'm a fan. I'm a fan now. So in 3 years, I'm gonna go get my USA Today hat. I got my Mexico hat. Mexico got their ass kicked. It got bounced early, so I couldn't wear that joker. All right. But I'm gonna get my USA hat. I really enjoyed the World Baseball Classic, dude. I really enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun.
I couldn't get over how it got me. Like I said, since its inception, I'm like, whatever. Dude, for the reasons you mentioned, the passion, the enthusiasm, the fanatics that each country's following had was just amazing. One of my guys went to Puerto Rico for he saw a few games. I was like, you went to Puerto Rico? I'm like, woo, Charlie. I'm like, them mommies had to be out there. He goes, oh, Baba, you don't even know.
Well, you saw how many, after, and I think it started a little bit before, but with Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, like all of a sudden, there were a lot more. I think it was Southwest opened up a bunch more direct flights out there to San Juan so people can make that. And I've been out there. It's been several years now, but you want to talk about a place that you can go that feels like you're in a foreign country, but you don't need a passport. You don't have to exchange your money. But you're still getting all the vibes of being there in the Caribbean and the beautiful weather and the beaches and just the culture.
Atmosphere.
The atmosphere, right? You would take that however you want, but you go to the El San Juan Hotel and that lobby of that thing on mostly the weekends, every weeknight, but certainly like Friday, Saturday, and everybody's in there like salsa dancing, and it's just like you got live bands going everywhere, and it's super cool because again, it's literally in our backyard in that regard. It's a very quick flight, you know what I mean? So, but to see that the baseball culture from other areas, we see that where it has obviously bled into the major league game a little, but it's so much more unadulterated. When you're watching these dudes from the Dominican, blasting a home run and pimping it for 35 seconds around the bases, and hey, how about this? Where else on an international stage like that are you going to see on one hand a 30-year-old electrician who's taken off from his job for a little while with Czechia, pumping 79-mile-an-hour fastballs and getting dudes out, while also a 17-year-old son of a former White Sox star who's a high school pitcher gets on because his mother is Brazilian, gets to go pitch for Brazil. So you've got a 17-year-old high schooler pumping upper 90s and a 30-year-old electrician barely getting to 80 in the same competition. Like I love that those opportunities are out there for us to get to celebrate these people in something, so it's not just truly the greatest players on the world. And we love that world stage, but I just like the stories that we get to be privy to that we normally aren't.
Yeah. Because that's what makes it the best is exactly that story. He's a plumber. Did you say a plumber, electrician?
Electrician.
Electrician. All right, he's an electrician. All right, he's a 17-year-old kid. Think about all the other 30-year, all the guys who are past their prime or never really made it to the bigs, but they're still good in their own country and they're fighting for national pride and the best of the best in their ability. Maybe even they outshoot their coverage. You know what I mean? Like they play above their head because of national pride, and you see it. And it seemed like the Americans were just so blasé about it, like apathetic, like we're probably gonna win it. We think we're gonna win it. We're good. And it was weird to me how I didn't see. And I know you might have heard earlier. I was talking about Rocky 3. I didn't see the eye of the tiger in the Americans. I didn't see it. And you saw it in the other teams. And man, when they got the last out, man, and the pitcher dropped to his knees, and people, the Venezuelans jumped out over the dugout. The amount of pride that they had was insane, and I think that's what got me. I'm like, you know what, dude, I may have to go to a game. I mean,
Yeah.
3 years, I may have to go to a game because that looked fun as all get out.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's so cool about it. There's been a lot of talk, everybody's like, oh, we should move to the all. I don't want to see this in the middle of the baseball season. I love it as this way for us to really prime ourselves up, prime that pump for the MLB season that's coming. You're seeing a lot of these guys get ramped up for it, because my fear is you put that in the middle of the season, how many contending teams are saying, no, sir, we're not sending our ace out there to put on extra innings at the beginning. You can be on a limit. We can let you ramp for the regular season just like you would be in spring, because you'd already be throwing these innings. But they're not going to add extra. I mean, unless they take games off it. So I love the timing of it. I like the way they've got it set up. I'd like to see them maybe expand the rosters so the kind of the pitching stuff is maybe not as much of an issue. But, as a Cubs guy, right, I love seeing it. Daniel Palencia, Cubs closer, out there shutting it down. And he sat down 3 straight left-handed hitters for the U.S., which is huge for him because he pitched to very traditional splits, really got beat up quite a bit by lefty batters. And so you're already seeing, like spring training, we always talk about that. The results don't matter. The games don't matter. Maybe they're working on things. These results mattered in the WBC. So what you see guys do there is far more telling as far as what they've been working on in the offseason, how we can expect them to perform in the regular season. So I really like that, and being able to get a look at some of these up-and-coming guys, or again with Palencia being the closer now for the Cubs full-time, and seeing Pete Crow Armstrong on that stage hitting a couple home runs in the game, seeing Alex Bregman, really there now, Cubs fans can pull for him versus him being, with the Sox or the Astros or whatever. So very, very cool. And I was really excited to see that regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, and it ramps it up, because the intensity is turned up big time. So now you go into spring training for another week, like you go into the season like you're on 10. You know what I mean? You're on 10. Like, slow start here. It's cold here. It's cold there. No, you're on 10. You're ready. You're coming out of a competitive situation. The atmosphere, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife in these places. That's how palpable it was. And now you just move into the season on a roll, which I think is awesome. Like you said, Valencia shut down the U.S. and that leads us right to why I had you on, the Cubs. All right, the Cubs are a team that I think should win the NL Central. There's really no one that worries me. St. Louis doesn't worry me. All right, Pittsburgh doesn't worry me. Cincinnati doesn't worry me. Milwaukee, maybe. That's probably the only team in the division. But your thoughts on where you think the Cubs, they added Alex Bregman, they got that power hitting third baseman, even if it's just for a year possibly. Your thoughts on the Cubs winning the NL Central?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've seen, and I would not be surprised, man. I think they still get back to 90 games, but the only issue that I have, of course, we always see the Brewers, it's like they trade away Corbin Burns and they still stay at the top. They get rid of Josh Hader, they stay at the top. Now they've traded away Freddie Peralta. Something tells me they'll figure out a way to still be very competitive. Certainly with you on the Cardinals, right? They've traded away all their veteran players for the most part. They're really looking at a hard rebuild for the first time in a while. My concern comes in that Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, while I don't believe, I've seen some hot takes out there, some bold predictions that they'll be pretty good. Although, Pittsburgh added a little bit around Skeens and that pitching staff's really good. The Reds re-signed Eugenio Suarez, so that guy's back there. He's a Cubs killer. My concern is not that the Cubs won't beat those teams, but that they won't pick up as many wins against. I think the division got a little more bunched, and so it's going to be kind of tough. There's no just to get escape velocity, if you will, right? The gravity in the division just got a little bit greater. I do think the Cubs win it, but I'm a little concerned about maybe that grind, how that takes its toll. Can they stay healthy? I think they're going to be a more consistent team than what we saw last year because there were a lot of second half slumps. They had to kind of skate their way in, sort of what it felt like. They sort of backed in, and, you know, injuries at the end of the season or at the beginning, you know, Justin Steele, and then Cade Horton at the end being hurt, that really took them out. And so if they can stay healthy, right, and that's a big if, because they got a lot of question marks on that pitching staff in particular. I do think they're going to be a very even-keeled team. I think you're looking at, you know, 88 to 92 wins, somewhere in there. You win the division. My concern, though, then comes in the playoffs. Are they going to have enough firepower and healthy arms to get it done when it really starts to matter?
Well, one of the biggest issues you have is Seiya. All right, slide in a second, hurts his knee. He's not on the opening day roster. Not on the IL, but he's definitely not starting on Thursday. What's going to happen in right field? What do you think what are the Cubs? How are they going to man that? Is it going to be a platoon out and right, or who's going to be the DH? How do you see that playing out to start the season?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Matt Shaw get a lot of time out there. Michael Conforto made the roster. I sincerely hope that's not something that's, you know, based on how he's played over the last few years, they just get a bunch of time out there. But we've seen, you know, Chas McCormick was another veteran they brought in. He's not going to break camp with the team, and I know he's dealing with a shoulder issue. Kind of seemed for a while like it would be McCormick and Conforto if they went kind of the older route and let Shaw play all over the place. But I do kind of wonder, you know, I've been really concerned about them kind of burying Kevin Alcantara down in the minors yet again his last year with an option left. And so I do believe he's got a good shot. You know, we still got a couple more days before we figure that out for sure. But hopefully it's just a brief period of time, you know, maybe the first series, maybe the initial homestand, 6 games there, especially, you know, Chicago weather. It's just
that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, if it's cold, you know, and I think it's supposed to be 50s, so not as cold as what we'd be used to, especially with the season starting in March in Chicago, having Anaheim come to Chicago to open the season, or not the initial series, but the second series there, a little bit weird, but let's say it's only a week. I think they end up kind of platooning that around. You know, it'll be Conforto, it'll be Shaw, kind of depends on matchups, how they want to mix and match that. But, you know, ideally it won't be that long because you really need Suzuki to be in there, to be healthy, to show off that power yet again, and then be able to just kind of load up when needed with those other guys. So I guess we'll see, but yeah, they got a few options.
Yeah, because my thought was you need a veteran who's familiar with Wrigley Field because of what you had mentioned. In March, that wind's a son of a gun. Coming off the lake, that wind is a son of a gun. And if it was voted, I don't know if it was the toughest right field, or if not it's one of the toughest right fields to play in Major League Baseball. So to put a youngster like Matt Shaw out there, I don't know if that would be right, but you need a veteran who's familiar with it, because that can play a lot of games with you. That ball gets stuck in the corner out there on those doubles down the line. Yeah, I just wouldn't be quick to put a youngster, someone who isn't familiar with them, with that position out there to start it. Not with, and hell, it was just windy as hell yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, that is one of the issues, especially with the way that does, like you said, it's swirling around there. I do think the one good thing is regardless, I think what we're going to see at DH is Moises Ballesteros. I mean, that kid has just come in. He's, you know, hitting jacks all over the place. I mean, you talk about 400-foot plus home runs at really high exit velocities. One of the things that he didn't show off a ton of power last year. I think he'll continue to grow into it, but very, very hitterish, obviously. And so having a guy like that to kind of take that role, and, you know, hey, are they going to move some guys in there? Will it be someone else? You know, maybe you get Shaw some at-bats at DH, depending on if it's a tough lefty pitcher, something like that. But I do think that we're going to see, you know, just like Suzuki kind of took over and was mostly the DH last year and really got it to settle into that role. I think that's a good thing. And we, you know, there's still going to be talk about Bally doing a little bit of catching. I think that really only happens if we're talking about an emergency situation. I think they're doing that to kind of just, he wants to catch, and I totally get it. So letting him do more of it in spring. But come the regular season, you plug that guy in, and all he's ever done at any level is hit. And I think that's one of those roles where if the Cubs can kind of lock him into that and he can really focus on it, the sky's the limit for this kid. I mean, if that power comes along, he's going to be great. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that development. They haven't really had someone, like that's where they would have had Schwarber if they'd had the DH when he came up, right? And that's where we're seeing him now. That's what he's evolved into. But same deal, right? Guy wanted to catch when he came up. Yeah, we'll let you do it to placate you for a while. And then it's like, okay, well, now you're going to be left, which is at the time was the DH in the National League, right? Like that's you put your Adam Dunn out there. That's why he was out there, because they didn't have a DH. And then it's like, okay, once the DH came along, all right, Kyle, here's your role. Just go out there and just hit 40 plus bombs. Like that's it.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about the field. Just go hit.
Just take a seat, grab a bat every couple of innings, and just knock it out of the park. You got Alex Bregman. How are you feeling about that? Now you have a nice power hitting third baseman. All right, you got a nice little infield. Talk to me about that infield with the addition of Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I was not hugely in favor of it before it happened, largely because we've seen a pretty steep decline overall in his production, kind of over the last. You look at his first 5 years versus the last 5. In that range, and certainly, there's always going to happen with age in a lot of those cases. However, having kind of learned a little bit more about how he goes about his business, right? I was looking just statistically, and obviously at the end of the day, that's what the results are going to be based on. But I do like this idea, so often talk about bringing in a veteran presence, and like the Cubs last year had Justin Turner. They've had some other guys like that, and Turner was fine for the role that he played. He could step in there and face lefties and do okay in a short side platoon role. I think a lot of people underestimate kind of the value that was there. And I'm not saying he was super valuable by any stretch, right? But he was a role player. He was a big guy and a good veteran to have. But in Bregman, you have someone who can do all that and still play every day. And I would say even more so than Turner. I mean, you talk about a guy who came in, asked for all the scouting reports on the players. What are all my teammates working on this offseason? What's going on in the hitting lab? What are these guys seeing? You've seen a guy who became relatively fluent in Spanish in order to communicate with his teammates for whom that was their first language, so that there's not the translation gap, right? And that's huge. And so this is one of my little knocks against Mark DeRosa, who didn't even understand that, didn't know that Bregman spoke Spanish, but actually answered a reporter's question who had asked the question in Spanish, and Bregman responded as such. And I think, to me, that's not something you have to do, but that's the mark of a great leader, in my opinion, someone who does go out of their way to, again, I don't want there to be a barrier between you and I in our communication. So I'm going to learn your language so that, again, you're not trying to figure out what to say to me in English, and I'm not trying to sit here with pull up my iPhone and have it dictate to me or whatever the case, right? But I think in addition to that, like, this is a guy who's going to ride you. If he doesn't feel like you're doing the work that you need to do, right? If that's Pete Crow Armstrong and he's looking at, Bregman's looking at that second half drop off, and he's digging into those numbers with him saying, hey, you need to be better here, and here. And if you're a player who desires greatness, you're willing to have someone call you out and tell you what you need to be doing. And I think in PCA is like, give me all. I want all the smoke. Like, I want it. I want to be the superstar. Tell me what I need to do to get better. He's not a prima donna. He's a young guy who is Pete Crow Armstrong is one of the most self-aware people at that age that I've seen. And I think Bregman is going to have a tremendous impact on his career, not just this year, but moving forward, and how he goes about his business as a professional baseball player, right? Not just a star. So more than what Bregman brings, I think he elevates that infield overall to now you've got no holes in it, one way or the other, defensively or offensively. When you look across at Dansby Swanson stepping up and doing a little bit better, you've got Nico Horner, perhaps one of the most underrated players in the league, Michael Bush, continuing to get better every single year. So, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's where I think the consistency comes in. Those guys are all, maybe a little bit of ups and downs, but all of them do so many things well that you're not going to be able to just stop one aspect. Okay, it's whack-a-mole, right? Well, we knocked this down, but then two others popped up here. So really, really excited to see how that all comes together.
Guys, we're joined by Evan Altman. He is the editor-in-chief of CubsInsider.com. We're talking Cubs baseball here on Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. When you have that type of lineup, you don't need everybody on at once. You could have a couple guys that are slumping because you have other guys who are more than capable of carrying a team for 2 weeks. And imagine if you get 2 or 3 guys out of the 9 that are able to carry you for 2 weeks, and then after that 2 weeks they go cold, then another 2 or 3 guys. And they have that talent, they have that ability. Now the biggest thing is can he stay healthy? You brought up Pete Armstrong in his hard coach. He loves smoke and all the critiques. I want to say the critiques because he wants to get better. How do you think he's going to be this year? Because he did have a great first half of the season. He did slump last year. He did get on himself a lot. Really, he was really hard on himself last year because of that slump, because he was doing it in the first half, but the league catches up to you. There's film. There's a new thing it's come out. It's called film, and they watch you and they plan against you. What do you think? What's Pete Crow Armstrong's adjustments to the adjustments that were made against him?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we saw, right, is that there was a lot of chase in his game. He's swinging at a lot now. Part of that, and he's one of those type of athletes who, we see it with Vlad Guerrero Jr. We saw it with his father. I mean, hopefully you and I are certainly of an age that we remember seeing that. If anybody out there is, maybe under the age of 40, you didn't get to see it. Like, he was the epitome of when you're in Little League and they teach you the strike zone is basically from your shoulders to your knees, right? You got to be, and with him, it's like ankles to eyes. If you throw it somewhere that he can reach his bat, he's probably going to be able to hit it. And he was an icon, one of a kind. But PCA, I think, is of that. He's always been so good and had such tremendous body control. That's why he's such a great defensive player, that he can make those adjustments at the plate. Now, the problem is, it's one thing to do that against high school players. It's another thing to do that against minor league guys. Now you get to the majors where they're going to be able to exploit that. Like you said, in high school, are they really going to have a scouting report? And if they do, can this guy execute on it? But now you've got all the reports and you've got pitchers who can all execute with perfection when it comes to that. So I think for him, it's now understanding that, like, yeah, can you conceivably get to some of those? Maybe, but are you actually going to be able to do damage on that pitch? I look at the take on this bad call, would have been reversed on ABS, but Mason Miller's strikeout at the end of the DR game, not a strike. There was a too close. But if you're an elite hitter, you've also got to understand, I can't do anything with that pitch. Even if I swing at that, I'm either going to whiff on that thing or I'm grounding it out to first base harmlessly. And so I think for Pete, it comes down to understanding you can possibly do something if you swing, but like maybe a strikeout looking every once in a while or taking some of those early is not the worst thing, because you need to understand your best zone and where you can truly do damage. And some of that came down to, I think, the home runs got in his head a little bit. And now I'm trying to be a power hitter. And he does have power. And he can go out there and hit another 30 home runs. But, my dude, you are the fastest player in the game, or one of the top 2-3 fastest players. You could turn a single or a walk into a double or triple just by a couple stolen bases, being able to advance yourself. So understand that it's not just having to hit for extra bases. Get yourself on however you need to. And if he can just play within himself a little bit more, doesn't even need to be a big ship. Now you're the best defensive player in center field. Now you're causing havoc on the bases. And I think if we see that, if we see him dial it down just a little bit, he's going to be a tremendous hitter. Not that he wasn't, right? But I mean, even better.
So what you're saying is less is more for him. It could be.
Absolutely. I think so.
I like that as well, because I think that he's the kind of guy, to me, fundamentals, being a former football player and a former coach, fundamentals are everything to me. right? Fundamentals are everything. You know, and I talked about like my White Sox. I think my White Sox are going to hover around 500 this year because they play fundamentally sound baseball. They don't screw themselves. They don't do what the White Sox used to do for the last 5 to 7 years. Shoot themselves in the foot, give other teams extra outs, miss the cutoff man, all this dumb shit, chasing, swinging away and chasing all these things. They're much better. You know what I mean? So the fundamentals, I think if Pete Crow Armstrong gets more fundamentally sound and says, hey, yeah, you know what? I can't take that. I can't do anything with that pitch, and it's a walk. Now he's on the base paths. Now he's affecting the game in another manner. Plate, not in the field, but on a base path, and that's where, to me, the little things. One of my coaching buddies used to say, "You take care of the little things, there are no big things."
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. If you take pitches that are you can't do anything with, and you get on, well, guess what? Well, now you're on base, and now you can affect the game so much differently. You talked about that walk turns into a double. And it depends on, it could be a triple, depending on, you know what I mean? So, and now it affects the pitcher's psyche. It affects the defense's psyche. It affects the catcher's psyche. When you got a guy on base who you know is going to steal, because now you got to play defense because for some reason, most teams don't hammer home. Like, I don't know if they work on it enough or they just think it's just everyone hit a home run, but all those little things, base to base and solid fundamental defense, I don't see it a lot in the bigs. And when you get a guy who can exploit that, like a PCA, man, that is good. That's going to, you talk about ruffle some feathers, boy. That's not going to be nice because you're like, shit. All right, then I got to go. Then you want to overcompensate. And boop, there it goes, right to the right side of the field. And the second baseman's trying to cover. You know what I mean? So I think when he gets to understand the fundamentals and takes the little things, does the little things right, dude, that dude is a mad explosive. Explosive. He could be one of the faces of the league.
He absolutely could. And I think we saw that, 2 home runs in that Team USA loss to Italy.
Yeah.
That almost brought him back, right? And that was the power aspect of it. But when you have someone who can rob those, and I look at just a kind of little analogy that maybe is a little bit jacked up, but he's got the Barry Sanders just otherworldly body control and ability. But if he can learn, Barry had no offensive line, but if he can learn, you talk about fundamentals, and I was talking to my son about this. And the greatest, I said, Emmitt Smith put up a lot of yards, but that was largely because he had a tremendous offensive line that could just knock everybody out of the way. But Smith, maybe more than anybody, he knew exactly where that hole was going to be. He wasn't getting touched early. He was never breaking off the big yards. You're not going to look at his highlights like Walter Payton or like Barry Sanders, but he just knew, this is, is it the A gap? Is it okay? I'm going to go here, and then this is how the defense is lined up, and now I'm going to know. He was just precise. Or I look at Marvin Harrison, not big, not super fast, but precise route running. Jerry Rice, same thing. Nobody was going to break down Jerry Rice and be like, "Oh, you're the best athlete ever." But man, that dude just busted his ass every offseason. He was in tremendous shape. Nobody ran routes like that, and that's where I look at, if PCA can get to that Jerry Rice level of just knowing exactly where to be, understanding how they're trying to attack you. You don't always need to be the one that creates everything. Learn what their weaknesses are and then go exploit them, just like they're trying to exploit yours. And I think that's what you see from the best players. They don't always have to make everything happen. They're willing to take the time and to let the game come to them, because they understand in that chess game, I'm going to let you make that move and screw up. I'm setting myself up for when that happens. And I think Pete just is he's a little hyperactive in that regard. I don't think he's quite learned to wait on it. Yeah, he should be. And that's the thing. It's he's never had to do that. He's always been the very best athlete on every field he's ever stepped on. And that's probably even true now. But if he gets to that point, man, I think, again, I talked about the sky being the limit for Ballesteros. I don't even think the sky, it's the stratosphere for PCA. This guy could be, as you said, he could be a true superstar if he's able to do that and let the game come to him.
Yeah, and he's got the personality for it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool part, because some guys like Mike Trout, he's just a superstar because he was just ungodly for how many years, but he didn't have that personality. He was just, the kind of hunchback and just did his thing. not great with the media, not great with, you know what I mean? Like he had no flair, no personality. PCA's got a little bit of flair, and playing here in Chicago up on the north side, as much as I hate it, you guys get a lot more coverage and national and local than my White Sox. But that's a team to play for if you want to be the face of a league, a team that gets a lot of coverage. And he's in a perfect spot. And it's all down to me. It's all down to for him. Get good at the fundamentals, right? Fall in love with the process. Like you said, what are they trying to do to me? Okay, cool. They're trying to do this. Well, here's what I'm going to do to you to combat what you're trying to do to me. And if that means taking more walks, then take more walks. If that means sit first ball, fastball, more often than not, because they're going to try to sneak one by you to get you 0-1 as opposed to 1-0, then sit on that first ball, fastball, rock a couple homers until you start seeing people throwing a lot more breaking balls. Like, aha, all right, now you see. So once he gets to that level, what was it? Yogi Berra's famous saying, it's 90% mental, and the other half is physical. Yeah. It's really 90% mental. And when you get it, your physical takes over, and his physical is a lot better than most people in the bigs.
Absolutely. And we see that there's not too many players for whom that is the case, right? Like, and baseball, as much as anything, you see so many grinders and these guys that just put in the work every day, day after day after day, whether it's just the reps on the field with the defense, with the hitting, and that can become second nature to so many of these guys who eventually got good, who they weren't the best player on their little league team. They weren't the best player on their travel team. They weren't the best player on their high school team. But over time, right, you're just chipping away. PCA is a different animal from that, right? And I think we saw that, like Kyle Tucker was another one who you're just the best player on the field every time you stepped on there. And I know Pete has worked very, very hard, particularly on his body control, his proprioception, or as he calls it, like kinesthetic awareness. Where is your body in space? How can you move? But I think sometimes what we see, and this happens in any sport, right? I would say that this is, in my opinion, the problem with AAU basketball now is a lot of times it just becomes get the best athletes, roll the ball out on the floor. These guys get really good at playing games. They don't get really good at understanding how to actually play basketball. Maybe that's my old man hot take.
Couldn't agree with you more, bro.
Yeah, but we see it so often that it's not about the work. All you do is play games. There's no practice. There's no development. That's a little bit different some of the other ones, but I mean, think about it again. In football, you can't just be the most superior athlete, because at the end of the day, everybody else on the field is too. And if you don't know where you need to be on a given play, your ass going to be exposed, and you probably
they know where you're supposed to be, and they'll be there.
Yes,
they're defensively. They'll be
you're
not
nice.
Move.
Get lit up, if you make the wrong read, and if you can't, same thing in baseball. If you just got out there and you succeeded because, hey, you're a pitcher and you can throw 100 miles an hour, and nobody at those younger ages can hit it. I got news for you. You throw 100 miles an hour straight as a string, it's going to get turned around. And so you've just got to be able mentally to be able to process so much and understand how to adjust. And these guys get, I think we saw it with Pete last year. He got domed up really bad in the second half, and you just saw him. You could tell, like, this guy's living inside his own head and trying all these different things and, like, trying to kind of will his way out of it versus thinking his way out. You get stuck in that maze. If you just walk around forever with no plan, you're going to be in trouble. And so if you understand how to adjust, and instead of trying to force the change and just like, well, I'm just going to swing harder. And that's a young man's, right? We've been there. I'm way past it, because I can't. I got to do it smart, because I can't work harder anymore. You learn to work smarter, and you can figure that out. And I think that goes for so many young athletes, right? He's not alone in that boat, and that's where it comes down to, you think about scouting, you think about finding these guys that understand the game, and he'll get there. I have no doubt he'll get there. But it's just,
is that where Bregman's going to have a big impact in him?
I think so. Yeah, because I think he's been there and done it. Bregman's such a baseball rat, and he's been a grinder forever. He's the reason LSU opened up their batting cages 24/7 to let him go in there, because he was like, I need a key to the cage because I want to go in there and hit. If I'm feeling like, it's 2 a.m. and I feel like something's wrong, or we've all been there, right? You get to that point where like, oh, something finally hit. You haven't been able to figure something out, and inspiration hits you at a weird time, and you got to go, write something down, or whether it's hitting the treadmill, or you got to go for a drive and figure something. Those things come to us, and Bregman has been there and he's done it. He was the young hotshot. He was the phenom at LSU, and then coming up as a rookie with the Astros, and so he can share that. Like, it's not just some guy telling you something that he doesn't know himself from experience, and I believe that's kind of the thing, right? He's got the roadmap already. Here you go, man. You don't have to go figure this out and make as many of your own mistakes. I've made them. I've been there. Let me guide you. And I think the stuff like that is invaluable of a veteran who's willing to do that, not for his own sake, right? He's got nothing to gain from that. Success, but Bregman came in. He's like, I win. The only thing I'm concerned about is winning baseball games, period. Point blank. Like he's gotten paid, but he's not in it. I mean, obviously he's in it for the money. Otherwise he wouldn't be playing professional baseball, but he is there explicitly to win games. And by making other guys better, he knows that he's got a better chance of winning baseball games. So, I mean, you would think that would be the case for a lot more guys than I think what it is, but he's certainly one of them who's figured it out, and I think wants to pass that knowledge on.
Talk to me about the starting rotation. Any concerns for you? Cade Horton should be back. He was throwing the springtime. How are they going to ramp him up? I mean, are they going to monitor him a little bit in the beginning? But how comfortable are you with this starting rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I think on paper, things look really good. Deep, Horton should be good to go. He's looked great. He's already touching 99. So, I think his hardest fastball last year was like 98.3. He's already up to, I think it was actually 98.6 unless he got a higher one. So almost 99, right? But already throwing harder this spring than what he did last year, which is a big sign. Justin Steele's health looks like, his rehab from the elbow surgery going really well. He's already facing live batters. He should be back by maybe mid-May or so. You got Edward Cabrera. I think he's going to be just an absolute phenomenon because, hey, we talk about the World Baseball Classic being there in Miami, being packed, but when the regular season Marlins games, not packed. There's no espresso machines and pots and pans and banging around, right? There's that. So being able to go from that environment into a full Wrigley Field in the summer with what should be postseason contention on the line, right? I think Cabrera is really going to benefit from that. So now you got these guys up at the top. Jameson Tyon's been a little bit troublesome. We'll see, but he's more toward the back end. You got Matt Boyd, who had a great season last year, right? He's going to be the opening day starter. He looks really good. Colin Ray is there as a backup. We haven't even mentioned Shota Imanaga yet. He gets it together, right? They've got a bunch of guys who are very, very capable. And I know they're going to open the season with just a standard 5-man. Steele's still on he'll be on the IL. But once he gets back, I could see them shifting into kind of a 6-man, right? You give not only him, but Cabrera's had a bunch of he's never had surgery, but he's been on the IL, I don't know, like a dozen times or so. We saw Imanaga deal with some health issues. We've seen Tyon deal with back and calf issues. Matt Boyd has a very checkered injury history. So you can move it at 6-man. You get everybody a chance to kind of stretch out a little bit. You can mix and match a little bit more as you need, give somebody some extra rest here and there. And I think as long as they can stay healthy, which is the case for pretty much any rotation, but they are built with enough depth. Javier Assad is there for some backup as well. They got Jackson Wiggins coming up through the minors. So they've got some guys waiting there if they do have to. But again, if you are without Horton in particular and or Cabrera, I think that's what, and we saw that in the postseason. When Horton went down, that was the death blow for them. That's what prevented them from being able to get over on the Brewers, because they just did not have that guy who you could go count on to miss bats. They have a lot of other guys who are going to rely more on contact. And as we've seen, ball go far, team go far. You giving up too many homers, it's really tough to overcome. So like what I see, if Horton is healthy and pitches the whole season, they're going to be in a very, very good spot.
Yeah, man. You said 5 or 6. I'm like, dude, you got like 6 or 7 people, and maybe even 8. Just a spot start here and there. Just give everyone an extra day of rest. You know what I mean? Like you guys have a nice rotation of pitchers and guys who can fill in a pinch. Like I said, to extend, the rest of the rotation. And then, this cycle we're going to go 6-man, and then maybe it will 7, 2-3 weeks down the road, just to give you some extra rest, just innings, because we're going to need you at the end of the year when the shit hits the fan and it's a little, it gets a little tight, because the Brewers, they're going to fight. They're going to fight. They're not going to say, okay, here you go, Cubs. Here's the title. Here's the division. They're not going to do that. They're going to fight. So you guys have I thought you have more than enough starting arms to really get it, to really put yourself in a position to handle anything that comes up. Like you said, injuries, suspensions, poor play, whatever it may be. Okay, take a rest. We'll give you you sit out this start. We'll put another guy in for you. I think they have more than enough capable guys to do that. What about the bullpen? How solid or how confident are you in this bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a tough one, right? Because bullpens can be so fickle from year to year. But I do like, already talked about Danny P, Palencia out there throwing his triple digits. He looks the part, right? You see that getting done and just throwing the glove up in the air and all that electricity. Like that's what you need from that. But I like, we've seen Jed Hoyer do this a lot, where he'll go out. He doesn't often do multi-year deals for relievers, kind of builds those relatively inexpensively, whether that's failed starters or guys who are in need of a change of scenery, kind of figuring out, cobbling it together with kind of mismatched pieces. But what I like this year is they've really done a good job of what the Rays used to do. Well, they still do, but what they kind of really popularized with that pitching around the clock, right? You get lefties and righties, different arm slots, low, medium, high, and you can just you just like, right, we're going to go get Rocky, right? We're going to go with a few body blows and kind of soften that up for that uppercut later. So you're not going to know what's coming. So you've got a sidearm lefty with Hobie Milner coming in. You got somebody, Hunter Harvey, former Royals guy. He's been injured quite a bit, but again, really high velocity. So kind of being able to set that up, like I can mix and match a righty kind of jump ball guy with a lefty who throws hard, or vice versa, and coming in and out. So a lot of what they've done is not so much. I'd still like to see them go with more velocity, and we saw that with the Padres. Cubs were able to get past them, but the Padres were basically throwing out every single reliever coming out there is pumping a hundo, and you're just like, what are we going to do? Like, just everybody in the WBC, same thing. Some dude you've never heard of who's out there just gassing triple digits. You're like, man, what is happening? My son thinks that's regular now, and it is. But like, I'm growing up watching baseball. If somebody hit 100 20 years ago, now it's like,
Nolan Ryan was like
100?
one of the only people that I remember. Nolan and Roger Clemens were like the two guys that I really remember were 100-mile-an-hour people, and it was like, oh, he hit it 3 times, and 3 times he hit 100. Now it's 3 times in the bat.
Yeah, if Mason Miller is only throwing 100, you're like, man, is he hurt? Is something wrong? Like these guys are pumping on 104. But I do, again, I like how that, and they've got some guys coming up. I think again, Wiggins is somebody who's up there, but I like how they've mixed and matched it. And to me, it's like, okay, you have your Colin Ray, you have your Javier Assad to kind of be your long man when needed. You got your Hobie Milner as the weird lefty sidearm guy. But as long as you've got Palencia there, if you have your closer and for sure this is who's got the 9th, it makes it so much easier to stack those other pitchers up and use the matchups. And I think Craig Counsell's done a really good job of that. That was one of the hallmarks of those Brewers teams when he was managing them, of just having a strong bullpen and guys who knew what their role was.
You got to manage 8. That's it. You just got to manage 8 because you know what's coming at the end. So you get those 8, and then you're good.
Makes it easier.
I got 2 more questions before I let you go. This is the year, it seems like. All right, there's no more excuses. You got enough arms, starting arms. You got a decent bullpen. You got more power in Alex Bregman. What kind of year do you think Craig Counsell has? Is he going to be? I mean, you guys stole him from Milwaukee. Is this the year where you really see him, because of all the talent that you have, where you really see him become a factor in the amount of wins that you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be helpful. He's always been a guy who, and he said this, right? He's less about the strategy so much and trying to get to know the personalities of these players and really kind of understanding how that works. But, it's one thing to say that and then another be able to do it in a city where, and the Brewers have certainly had much greater expectations now, but there's not nearly as much pressure when you look at kind of nationally and otherwise and how they're looked at and how much money they're spending and how they need to turn that into success. And so I do think, just like, hey, you only got to manage those 8 innings because you know who's got the 9th, like having Bregman there, having, again, that whole infield is set. You already know that. And then once Suzuki comes back, the outfield is set. On a normal basis who everybody is, how they're going to be able to play. I do think someone like Bregman takes some of the pressure off the management stuff. So Counsell may not have to get on guys as much, and he doesn't have to really always be the kind of hard ass, right? And not that that's generally been his thing, but he's able to kind of, I think, be a little bit more of himself. Those players they got a lot of veterans. They're going to be able to hold guys accountable within that clubhouse on their own. So that allows him to just step back and make sure he's putting guys in the right position. So yeah, I mean, I think the expectation is there, right? That they have to be successful. Like, it wasn't enough. It was nice to win a wild card series and be competitive in the NLDS, but that's not enough. You've got to get past that. You have to show that you are a contending team and that the money that you're spending on these big time players and bringing this in, and are there extensions to work out, and are there some other things here? But you can't be a team that's worth the third most in baseball, and see those values continue to rise and see all this money that this team is supposedly worth for a squad that's just going to be, again, one and done in the postseason or struggling to win the division against a bunch of other kind of mid-majors, right? You don't get to be a Power 5 school in a mid-major conference and not win. Like, that's not how it works. But that's kind of what they are right now with how these other teams are spending. So they got to win, and Counsell's got to be the guy pulling the strings and making it happen.
Last question before I let you go, and man, I always appreciate your time, man. I love talking. I love having you on to talk Cubs. Don't forget, guys, we're on with Evan Altman. He's the editor-in-chief of CubsInsider.com. We're talking Cubs baseball here on Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Who do you think is going to have a surprise breakout year on the Cubs? Could it be a PCA whole season? I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise but to do it a whole season, he hasn't done it yet. Or is there someone that you see just comes and just kind of under the radar, just has a really, really good season, opens a lot of eyes? Do you see anyone having a breakout season for the Cubs this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see a more consistent performance from PCA. I think, I mentioned Ballesteros, but I'll kind of go off the board a little bit and say I really like the adjustments that Dansby Swanson has made. And that's a guy who, hasn't really been known. Defensively, he's been great, but offensively, he's had a lot of struggles, a lot of slumps. I think we see him come out of the gate hot and have a really, really strong season at the plate for the Cubs. So I'll go with Swanson as kind of the guy nobody's really expecting much from outside of his glove. I think he's out there maybe 25 plus homers for him even.
That'll make a lot of people feel a lot easier about his contract if he can go yard 25 times. That'd be dope. Evan, great stuff as always, man. I appreciate your time. Do me a big favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Absolutely. You can check out CubsInsider.com. Search for us on X at Real Cubs Insider, Facebook Cubs Insider. And then I'm at D. Evan Altman on X. I would also suggest everyone go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, vote for the Wu-Tang Clan. You still got a few more days. They are on the ballot. We can get them up in there. And they did just announce some additional tour dates for their final chamber tour. So they will be coming to Tinley Park. Just letting everybody know, if you haven't seen this already, sometime, I think it's September 4th, Friday, September 4th, Credit Union 1 Amphitheater, Wu-Tang Forever, final chamber. Get your tickets, go see them before it's too late.
Dude, that's literally right down the street from my house. I'm off 159th in Harlem, and then like on 191st in Harlem.
You got no excuse.
None whatsoever. Evan, great stuff, man. I'll be in touch soon. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Take it easy.
All righty. Guys, that's Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com. Cub fans, there you go. There you go. We talked about it, and they have a good shot. They have a good chance to win. They should win. Like I said, you can't be a Power 5 team in a mid-major conference and not win and not dominate. So there's no excuse. No excuses anymore. I'll tell you what, baseball will be fun on the north side if the Cubs can do just that. If they can play to the level of their talent. And this is where it goes back, and I know it's very coach speak. And, Mike Tomlin has said the standard is the standard. But it's literally that simple. If you play to the best of your ability, okay? You play to the best of your ability. Don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about what they do. Don't worry about them and their big bats or their speed or their this. If you play to the best of your ability, okay, you should be able to win the division. All right? You should be able to make a lot of noise, not just in the NL Central, in the National League. And that's the one thing that a lot of times players don't, individuals and the teams don't focus on is themselves. Focus on what we're doing. What do we need to do better? All right. And that's why I hope my White Sox are doing the same thing. Focus on what we need to do better. Okay. Focus on what we, the good guys, the Southsiders, need to do better. We need to make sure we bunt. We need to make sure we're taking extra bases. We need to make sure we're stealing bases. We need to make sure we're hitting the cutoff man. We need to make sure we're going first to third on singles, especially to right field. Okay? All these things, these little things, make a huge difference. Remember, if you take care of the little things, there are no big things. And that's why I think my White Sox get to around 500. All right, I think they can get to 500. They're just doing a lot of things well in spring training. I'm not worried about the homers. That's I could give a rat's ass about the homers. It's the other things. It's the fundamentals of baseball that I see this team making or this team playing with, and that's going to win some games. And man, you Cub fans won't be able to talk shit anymore. No more 100 losses. Okay. We had 3 in a row. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. But it seems like Will Venable is the right guy for this team. Seems like he has them. But 1, believing in themselves. 2, they're playing hard. 3, never, ever, 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 ever thinking they're out of a game. How many? We got 1 out left. We only got 26 outs down. We got time. And that is the great part about belief and a manager who instills that into his team. Like I said, we're going to win a few games that we shouldn't. We're going to win a few series that we shouldn't. And now when you get when our talent starts to develop, man, Mr. Southside, the Sox will not lose 100 games this season. I agree with you, Shawn. I agree with you, man. I do. I want to say what's up to Shorty in the house. King Booker World. Man. Yeah, the Cubs are about a 90-win team. I agree with you, bro. I agree. I agree. They're loaded, man. They are loaded. They are loaded. So, Sean Walls. What else? Listen, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my guy Evan Altman for coming out talking Cubs baseball. I'm gonna reach out, see if we can get a Sox writer on Wednesday. I know who I'm reaching out to. Hopefully he can come on. I've had him on here many times before for years. So I hope I can. I hope he's free on Wednesday. We can talk some good guy from the South Side. I'm fired up, and we could talk a little more, maybe NCAA, because the next day will be the day after my next show will be Thursday, and the tournament starts up again. All right. Listen, I hope you guys first of all, thank you for the love and support you guys give me. I appreciate it every single show. All right. Hope you guys get out there and have a it's a little nippy. It's in the 40s. Okay, but let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow is promised to no one. Guys, have a phenomenal day. All right. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, oh, holy cow, I almost forgetted it. Hey guys, let's make sure, don't forget. All right, get your Sports Zone Chicago swag. All right, you got the 2 QR codes, one in the upper left-hand corner, and one right here on screen. Get your FGB shirts, your FGB hats, your hashtag Coaching Matter hats, Sports Zone Chicago hats, Bear Victory Monday hats. You have the other one. What's that one? There we go. Sports Zone Chicago hat, upper left-hand corner. Sports Zone Chicago hoodies. All right, Cigar Fanatic T-shirts for men and women. All right, we have a whole bunch of cool swag. You've seen it, man. You've seen it. All right, we got the Good, Better, Best hoodies, Good, Better, Best T-shirts, FGB T-shirts. Okay, Bears Victory Monday T-shirts. All right, we have a whole bunch of cool shit, quarter zips, hoodies, hats, bucket hats. Order your Sports Zone Chicago swag now. Okay, and then don't forget, get your tickets. All right, July 25th. I gotta make it wider. It's too thin. All right, for the double nickel, all linen celebration for the SuperBack. Myself, Saturday, July 25th. All right, 4:30 to 7:30 is a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. all my old farts know it's Gilligan's Island. All right, we're boarding Summer of George. We're boarding at 900 South Wells. Get on the lake, man. We are gonna have. It is going to be one hell of a time. I cannot tell you how dope it is going to be. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you. You'll see some videos. All right, you'll see some lives. Get your tickets now. All right, the first 20 are discounted. All right, you see tickets are $55. The first 20 tickets are $45. Listen, I can't do anything about the fees and the taxes. I can't. We're in the state of Illinois, so you know we got to pay taxes. But I'm telling you, get your tickets ASAP. It is going to be off the chain. All right, cool. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Remember, at 12:15, Sydney and Lakina are going to come on with another 2 hours of Chicago sports talk. Make sure you tune into them for Second City Sports. But for me, your boy, the SuperBack, again, I love and appreciate you guys, but your boy is